Ukrainian forces have carried out a retaliatory strike on the base of Russia's 448th Missile Brigade, which was identified by Ukrainian intelligence as being involved in the deadly missile attack on Sumy days ago, as Russia continues its deliberate daily air attacks on residential areas in attempts to terrorize civilians and damage civilian infrastructure. Ukraine uses its long-range drones trying to target military and logistic targets inside Russia. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the 448th and 112th Missile Brigades of the Russian Army were responsible for launching the missiles that struck Sumy. The Ukrainian retaliatory strike involved units from the Ukrainian Armed Forces Drone Systems Forces, Special Operations Forces, and the Security Service of Ukraine, coordinated with other components of the defense forces. In particular, the permanent deployment point of the 448th Missile Brigade of the Russian occupiers was hit, and secondary detonation of ammunition was recorded. The results of the strike are being clarified. The General Staff wrote, "Some unofficial Russian sources confirmed a Ukrainian attack on the 448th Missile Brigade in Kursk and Russia casualties, although did not provide any details." The Russian outlet Astra reported multiple explosions in Kursk city, citing local residents. Russia's Ministry of Defense later claimed that air defenses shot down 115 Ukrainian drones, 109 over Kursk Oblast, 3 over Voronezh, and 1 each over Moscow region, Bryansk, and Oryol Oblasts. Recall Russia used 2 ballistic missiles to attack central Sumy city on the 13th of April during Palm Sunday festivities. The latest official data says that the Russian double-tap missile attack on Sumy killed 35 people, including an 11-year-old boy and a 17-year-old teenager, and wounded 129 others, among them 15 children. The main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense confirmed that the Russian attack on Sumy likely involved Russian Iskander-M missiles or North Korean KN-23 missiles. Militani says that due to their similar size and technical specifications, a precise identification is pending further expert examination. According to Militani, the missile launchers were reportedly deployed from within Russian territory, specifically from the areas of Lysky in Voronezh Oblast and Zelenski in Kursk Oblast. The 112th Brigade is based in Ivanovo Oblast, while the 448th is stationed in Kursk Oblast. Both brigades are equipped with operational tactical missile systems of the Iskander-M type.
The U.S. Navy released video on Wednesday showing personnel preparing missiles for fighter jets on the USS Carl Vinson carrier. According to Associated Press, the operation of the carrier and its strike group in the Arabian Sea comes as suspected U.S. airstrikes pounded parts of Yemen controlled by the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. Footage filmed by the Navy on Tuesday showed the Vinson preparing ordnance and launching F-35 and F/A-18 fighter jets loaded with missiles off its deck. The Houthis' Al Masirah satellite news channel acknowledged on Wednesday U.S. strikes on Sada, Hodeidah, and other cities across Yemen. Around 14,000 U.S. and Filipino forces will undertake large-scale battle readiness exercises in the Philippines, including live-fire drills, as part of ongoing joint efforts to deter aggression in the region, a Philippine military official announced Tuesday. According to Associated Press, the annual Balikatan, Tagalog for shoulder-to-shoulder, military exercises between longtime treaty allies will be held from April 21 to May 9 and involve about 9,000 United States military personnel and 5,000 Filipino forces, Philippine Brig General Michael Logico said. Philippine officials said the exercises demonstrate that President Donald Trump administration is not scaling back its commitment to security in the region. China has frowned on such war drills in or near the disputed South China Sea and in northern Philippine provinces close to Taiwan, especially if they involve the US and allied forces that Beijing says aim to contain it and consequently threaten regional stability and peace. Australia would deploy about 200 military personnel, and Japan and other US-friendly nations would also send smaller military delegations. Trump's America First foreign policy thrust has triggered concerns in Asia about the scale and depth of U.S. commitment to maintain a long-standing security presence in the volatile region. At a news briefing in Manila, Logico dismissed these concerns and described the drills as a full battle test.
Trump administration was the possibility that security activities in HQs like this would be scaled back to those concerns in terms of disproving or. And then my number.
Very quickly lang, sir. Is an event?
As you can see, there is no scale back. Okay. Whether there is a reduction in the number of people, that is immaterial. What we are looking at is a more purposive exercise.
Can both of you define what is a full battle test and how?
When we're talking about the full battle test, we are now treating exercises as rehearsals. See, so we are implementing a plan that has been planned out in the previous Balikatan, and that is what we're going to execute for this time. Now, in the past, we have a separation of what is planning exercise and what is a field training exercise. Now we're doing it together.
North Korea has shipped more than 15,800 containers of ammunition to Russia over 18 months, becoming a critical supplier to the Kremlin in its war against Ukraine. As Newsweek reports, an analysis using satellite imagery and detailed 3D images of the ships and their cargo identified at least 64 shipments from North Korea to Russia between August 2023 and March 2025. The report states that the Russian military received approximately 4.2 to 5.8 million rounds of ammunition through these deliveries. It is indicated that 4 Russian-flagged cargo ships were involved in transporting the North Korean ammunition: Angara, Lady R, Maria, and Maya 1. The North Korean flow of munitions allows Russia to maintain offensive momentum and undermines the effectiveness of Western military aid to Ukraine, the report said. If left unchecked, this flow of weapons could tilt the battlefield even further in the Russians' favor and precipitate broader security risks in both Europe and East Asia, the analyst said. Russia has had to seek external support for its war and ailing economy as the invasion dragged on for much longer than it expected, after a resilient Ukraine backed by the military might of the US put up a strong defense. Moscow has largely relied on North Korea and Iran for additional military hardware, and China for big purchases of oil and other resources to keep its economy afloat following punitive Western sanctions. The South's Joint Chiefs of Staff said North Korea has also been sending more missiles, artillery equipment and ammunition to help Russia, and that North Korea could increase its weapons supplies further depending on the war situation. The military equipment North Korea has sent to Russia includes a considerable amount of short-range ballistic missiles, 170mm self-propelled howitzers and around 220 units of 240mm multiple rocket launchers. North Korea has sent approximately 11,000 military personnel to fight in the war against Ukraine in its first involvement in a large-scale conflict since the 1950-53 Korean War, and the Joint Chiefs assessed that around 4,000 of them have been killed or wounded.